Hello everyone, and welcome back to Harvest Moon Wonderful Life Special Edition. This is Showboat, and I am bitter today. I am very, very bitter today. So, it's like after 9:30 at night right now. And I've been trying to record for about half an hour. I was in the middle of recording the game just a few minutes ago. But let me tell you about the saga of what has been going on lately. So, today I finally was able to actually use my PC and allow it to update, because my Steam install of all of my games has finally finished. It took like a week to do. So today I did the really big November update to Windows 10. Now, oh, you're asleep. I'm not gonna mess with you when you're asleep. So, I did that. It essentially acts like completely reinstalling your operating system. It essentially is. And, it forked a lot of things, including my audio setup. I don't know if you can tell, but the audio is a bit different from, the previous videos. That is why. It's because originally the audio was completely messed up. Yeah, it was horrible. And this was this morning, by the way, when I did this update. It also affected my recording software, AverMedia RE Central, for some reason. I don't know how, I don't know why, it just has. So I had to uninstall and reinstall AverMedia RE Central just to get the video to work on the screen. It was black before, black screen of Doom, that I could do nothing about. Not even restarting the PC would fix it. But it would act as a pass-through just fine. I could see the game on the TV just fine. So I did that, and I was able to get the game going and on the screen and recording, and all the settings all fresh and good. I'm actually noticing right now that I'm not even recording to the correct drive, because fuck my life. In the middle of recording, the game crashes. Not the game itself, but the RE Central software crashes, which screws the recording completely. So everything I recorded up to late afternoon of this very day that we are playing right now, gone. Not only that, but it crashed in such a way that the program won't start again until you restart your computer. So I've restarted my computer and I'm running this again. When I started up this program again, every single setting was changed back to default. What? That blows my mind. I saved my settings. My configuration was supposed to have been saved. I saved it. But apparently it didn't actually save it for some reason. When it crashed, I guess it was stored in a cache when I pushed the save button, and when it crashed, it lost everything that was in there. That is very poor programming, to be completely honest. It should not be like that. It should have been written directly to the disk immediately. But anyway, so that happened, and now this is happening. where I am recording to the wrong location on a completely different disk. This is actually being recorded onto my system drive right now, which isn't all that particularly huge. It's got like 400 gigs remaining, but whatever. More than enough for this one particular video, but I do need to remember to switch it to where it's supposed to go, which is my my raw recording drive, which, by the way, is also filled up rather much because of all of the recording I've been doing lately. So now perhaps I can actually talk about less salty things, but still salty things. Yeah, so the past couple of days, today being Saturday, December 12th, last couple of days I've been recording a lot of Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. Basically, all that was left has been done. I have the achievement called 1001%. The game is done. It is finished being recorded, actually. I'll still do the daily runs for until I leave on vacation. But the actual Let's Play itself is finished. I have to go through and edit a lot of stuff together, but I'm pretty sure if I leave that series on its current cadence of every other day, it'll take through the end of February to get all those videos up. So I'm probably going to be putting it to daily over the course of my vacation, in place of course, this particular video going up, this particular series, because this series isn't going to be recorded while I am on my vacation, which actually lasts through the 9th, not through the 8th, as I've been saying a lot lately. I've just been wrong. I didn't even know my own date of return. It's the 9th. It's when I return. Speaking of which, I actually just also got an email a couple hours, like, just before I started this whole spiel of trying to record. Got an email from my airline, Delta, saying that my flight has been changed for the return trip on the 9th. Before, which had already been changed, mind you, it was supposed to depart at like around 9:20 in the morning to go to Detroit, and then from Detroit to here, well, to Kansas City, and then I get picked up and taken back. Now it's 6 a.m. So what was around 9:20 now is 6 in the morning. It used to be in the 8 o'clock hour and going to New York LaGuardia, but they changed that really quickly. Now they've changed it again, and I don't know why they keep changing it. I have no clue why it keeps getting changed, but yeah. So now I'll be coming back. My first flight is at 6 in the morning, and I have a rather long layover in Detroit, which will be fun. Most definitely. Hopefully none of my flights are canceled due to weather. But we shall see. We shall see. But yeah, Afterbirth. I'm just suck it, game. Just suck it. Yeah, I'm just done. My mind is so frazzled right now from finally being able to get through the rest of it. It's like, oh God, I'm so happy that it's done. I don't really want to look at it again, but I know that there's going to be another like mini expansion coming out sometime this next year. That, of course, I'll have to make more videos of until I finish that too. It's been a very bitter experience towards the end, but I am finished with it now. I've done all of the things, and I am happy that I have managed to get through all of the things. Uh, so, and that's basically what I've been recording for the past 2 days. That's all I've been doing the past 2 days, all day, for the most part. Although yesterday, I did manage to sit down and play. Wait, was it yesterday or the day before? I forget. It was one evening. One evening recently, I played Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons for the first time. And it's around this point where the thingy crashed, which was like, what? Who's looking at my PC and crashing my program because I've started talking about Brothers? I don't like it that much as a game. As a game, I think it's mediocre at best. But there are certain people, particularly Total Biscuit or John Bain or whatever you want to call him. He thinks that it is the best game of all time. If not, it's like better than Deus Ex, the original, which I also consider extremely dated and not worthy of that title any longer. But yeah, I don't like Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons as a game. As a narrative, it's got an extreme. Its story is really strong. Although even that I do have a few problems with. The story itself, I feel, is just a patchwork of various unrelated stuff happening, taken from various different. It feels like each story has been told by other things in the past. Like they're retelling certain stuff going on, and they're trying to stitch everything together into a single narrative, and it just I don't think it works that well, but it's designed to have a very emotional impact. That's what I'll say about the game. It's designed to have an emotional impact, and as far as that is concerned, it does very well. It does very well at what it does with that, but that still does not excuse it for, one, being a buggy mess on PC. I played through it in one sitting over the course of about 3 hours. And the game, I had to restart twice for bug-related issues that stopped progress. That's the worst type of bug you can have in a game, is one that stops progress. That forces you to leave the game to continue. The first time one of my characters was stuck and couldn't... It was like stuck behind some invisible geometry and it couldn't leave it. So I had to restart from the last checkpoint in that circumstance. It's still making me have to leave that environment. It hindered my progress. Essentially soft locking the game because I couldn't move from where I was. And the second time was towards the end of the game, in a very frantic moment where the game decided, oh, I'm just going to have a black screen now, permanently, rather than show you this cutscene that's supposed to be happening right now. So I had to literally close the game and reopen it in order to fix that particular problem. And there's been various other issues with the characters and the geometry in particular that are buggy messes. With those two things that happened, tell me that not a lot of thought went into this PC port, so I don't consider it that great of a PC game, to be completely honest, with those bugs that it has, just that can completely stop progress. That's inexcusable. Yeah, and I consider like the actual gameplay itself to be very shallow. It's designed specifically to give you an emotional impact, but the gameplay itself is shallow. It's shallow. You don't even need to think about where you're going or what you're doing next. It's all laid out right there in front of you in a very linear pathway where you can just do really nothing else besides the achievements. It's like, what? Why? You literally walk down a corridor the whole game. That's what it felt like to me. It's like I'm just walking in a straight line through the whole of this game, doing the occasional task which the game thinks are puzzles but are not in the slightest. I just don't like the gameplay of it. I don't like it at all. I find it to be very shallow. Very easy, actually. That's what I find it to be. Very easy, to the point where I find it shallow because it's so easy. Every place where you can go is very extremely clearly defined, and there is absolutely no way that you can actually miss where you need to go at any given time. Some people find that good. I find that horrible in a game like this that's completely linear. They don't even try to hide where you need to go next. It's clear as day. It's only one path you can take for the majority of the game. Vast majority of the game. And it's quite clear the things that you need to do in order to progress. So, yeah, I don't like the gameplay. To be perfectly honest, I think that Brothers, Tale of Two Sons, is a better movie than it is a video game. It is a far better movie than a video game. Its emotional impact would have done just as well in the format of a movie, rather than as an interactive thing. I don't consider it to be much of a game. It is a game. Objectively, it is a game. It's not much of a game. The actual game is shallow. I put a lot of thought into that, but I still can't express properly all of the things that I have wrong with it just from the top of my head. I need to sit down and write and think for hours. And, well, probably what I need to do is just go through the game again, record it, and state all of my issues with it while recording it, just as things happen. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever get around to doing that. I don't have a very high opinion of it. I think it is mediocre at best. In terms of being a game. Story, fine. It tells its story well, although ultimately it's a patchwork of stuff. It's like the actual journey that you go on. The ending is strong, though extremely predictable. I found it to be one of the most predictable games that I've ever played in terms of how it ended, because it's quite clear from the very beginning. You know how that game is going to end from the very beginning, and the kind of things that are going to have to be overcome. But the actual journey, all the environments that the game went through, felt rather disjointed. I didn't like it all that much. Transitions sometimes they made no sense at times. It's like, how the hell do you get to this big icy place from this rather craggy place? It's like, what? There's it doesn't make geologic sense to me. This world does not make sense to me when thinking about how it has to be laid out, like in an actual overworld kind of thing. Because really, you're just walking down this big linear pathway going through various things. And yeah, there's times where it's like a day passes, but I mean, come on. No. There cannot be as stark of transitions as what happens in this game over the time period that the game takes place. In terms of like the environments, it's like what? Some of it just doesn't make sense to me at all. And the things you do in each of those, it's like, I already see where I saw where every little subplot was going. It felt very predictable. I didn't like how it was organized, how it was laid out, any of that. None of it. None of it. Ends very emotionally. Oh, hey, a Shar Shark. A Shar Shark, yay. It ends emotionally. But ultimately, you saw it coming. Let's be honest. Sort of knew how that was going to end. Doesn't stop it from being emotional, but still. At least they had the balls to do what they did with that story. Not many game developers will actually have that happen and actually keep it. It's even a problem I've seen in anime and other like actual shows, other forms of media. They don't want to go to those types of places for some reason in terms of evoking emotion to tell the story. But other than being able to do that, which has been done before, mind you, in other forms long time ago, Galaxy Far Far Away, I thought it was overall fairly weak, fairly mediocre game at best. Anyway, all that said, we didn't crash this time, thank goodness. As long as I can save. With that, I'd like to thank you all for watching. This has been Showboat, and I shall see you all on the next one, which, as far as I'm aware, the next one will be on Monday for my recording of it. It'll go live on Tuesday. I'm currently undecided whether I want to record it before or after I take my final exam on that day. Because I take a final exam on that day. It is at 4:30 to 7. And he says that it's probably going to take until the 6 o'clock hour, so I'm probably going to be very late that day, so I'm likely going to record before I do it. So anyway, with that, I will see you all on the next one.